Coffeezilla is one of the most successful FUD artists of Bitcoin, and as you can see, all of his videos about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency are negative. Talking about, oh, this crypto guy did this, oh, this crypto influencer stole from these fans. It's never anything positive about cryptocurrency. It's never about how much we've taken from the banking cartel in under a decade, becoming the best performing asset of the decade. No, this guy, all he does is talk about, oh, this crypto guy did this, he said this, this scammer got scammed. He's just focusing on the completely wrong things. I want to react to one of his videos. He's basically talking about the Bitcoin situation in El Salvador.
Bitcoin has been the official currency of El Salvador for an entire year. So how's it going? Well, here's what the media is saying.
The results have been...
Stop. Why are we going to the media for their take on cryptocurrency? These guys have been wrong about cryptocurrency for the longest time and have literally spread lies about cryptocurrency going to zero hundreds of times. If you look on the Bitcoin obituaries, media articles that have been posted about Bitcoin going to zero or it being over range in the hundreds. The establishment media has been talking shit about cryptocurrency since it was like $1 and hasn't stopped until today. Forbes wrote an article about how Bitcoin is going to zero when it was $15. Okay? These people are consistently wrong and intentionally wrong about cryptocurrency.
At best.
President Bukele has invested nearly
BBC
$100 billion of public money
has always been wrong about cryptocurrency.
Have not risen in value since being bought using Bitcoin.
Okay, you see what they said? BBC said, oh, these coins haven't risen in value since they've been bought. Well, you guys have been spreading FUD about Bitcoin since it was like $100, okay? Why don't you go back to that time? Like, why don't these mainstream media guys circle back and look at how wrong they got Bitcoin in the past? This is what these people do all the time. They take a small snapshot of what cryptocurrency is doing now when there's a downturn, and then they'll just blur out everything that happened before that point. And they have to do that because if they don't do that, they have to admit that Bitcoin is the best performing asset of the decade and cryptocurrency has been massively successful up to this point. That does not suit their agenda, so they only take a snapshot of what is happening in like recent times when there's a downturn, and then they say, oh, look guys, oh, it's gone down. Guys, it's, oh man, Bitcoin's going down. That they do that over and over again. And midwits like this guy don't seem to understand that.
Remains a challenge.
Oh, MSNBC, that's another one.
We held up a line for 10 minutes as the cashier waited for a payment to clear.
They said that the transaction was declined, but on my Bitcoin wallet, it showed that it had gone through.
Okay, so...
Bro, I wouldn't put it past them for that to be part of the script. MSNBC hates cryptocurrency, hates liberty. Of course they want to make Bitcoin look as unattractive as possible, yet they won't talk about the trillions and trillions of dollars that the US government steals from the American people. No, they won't talk about that. It's just propaganda.
It doesn't look great from the start, and with the...
Well, it doesn't look great if you're in the Matrix and all you watch is establishment media. And it didn't look great for cryptocurrency when it was under $100. And the same guys were saying that Bitcoin's going to zero and oh, it's over. This is what midwits are like. Like they only look at what's literally in front of them. They never look at what's happened before or take a long-term view of something. This is all they do. Like they just have the blinkers on and they just look at what's literally in front of them. It's ridiculous.
IMF telling El Salvador to ditch Bitcoin and rethink crypto. We might be tempted to end the video there, but Bitcoiners would say that's a mistake. Of course, the IMF, International Monetary Fund, wants people to rethink Bitcoin. Just last week, the International Horse Fund was telling people to rethink cars. In fact, maybe all this FUD from the lamestream media is just them fighting against a future that will make them obsolete.
Yeah, so look at who this guy is defending. Like, he's defending the IMF. Like, literally the empire. Like, you are working for the establishment. You are doing unpaid PR work for the IMF, for like the actual villains of this world. Like, what are you doing, dude? Like, these people are horrendous.
These price falls, I mean, they're just hiccups in a longer plan. But then again, Bitcoiners aren't exactly unbiased themselves. Of course.
Okay, let's just skip over that part, you know, because, you know, Coffeezilla will never show the long-term cryptocurrency chart, will never show you what Bitcoin has done over the last 10 years because that doesn't suit his narrative. So that hypothetical objection he just brought up, he immediately dropped and went to the next point. This is intentionally misleading. Stop moving people along, like this is deceptive.
Of course, they're going to be fans of El Salvador with it becoming a crypto tax haven. Billionaires became fans of the Cayman Islands for the same reason. So yeah, I'm kind of sick of hearing from Bitcoin bros too. In fact, everyone is.
What the hell are you doing here, even though it's Thanksgiving?
Right. Well, Simon, we didn't get invited to any of our families' Thanksgiving this year because they're so sick of us talking about Bitcoin. We tried. They hung up on us. They're just like, go away. We're sick of you.
That's why I always say you don't talk religion, politics, or global financial policy at the dinner table.
Stop. Yes, you do. If you want your ideas to spread, you need to be zealous about it and constantly push the agenda. Like, this is how you get your ideas to spread. Again, to someone that doesn't stand for anything, maybe this is incomprehensible, but there are more important things than immediate social gratification. Like, for us, we're more concerned about taking money, taking wealth from the establishment and putting it into the hands of the people. Now, maybe that's not important to you, but that's because you don't stand for anything. And I want to reiterate this concept. You don't need to be liked to get your way in society and for your ideas to spread. Let's think about vegans, for example. I would say vegans are mostly seen as annoying or silly or like some negative adjective by the general population, I would say. Like, I think that's fair to say. I think it was that way in the past and it is today, but it's slightly shifting to be more positive today. But the reason why I bring this up is they did not care. They were willing to be annoying for the sake of their agenda, and their agenda did actually successfully spread. They've made measurable accomplishments in getting people to become vegan. Think about like what it was like 10 years ago with fast food restaurants. There was pretty much no vegan option. And now there is. Like, every fast food restaurant, more or less today, has a vegan option where they didn't before. And I'll even put on screen Google Trends when you search the word vegan. It's just steadily going up over the last like 10 years or so. You could say whatever the hell you want about vegans, whether you like them, dislike them, it doesn't really matter. They were zealous enough and it actually worked, and they got their ideas to penetrate more into the mainstream. Like, this is how it works. Normies don't transmit any ideas to society. It's the people on the fringes that do that. If you want your ideas to spread, you have to be willing to be annoying to people. That's just the bottom line.
You just don't do it. That, by the way, is Max Kaiser. And in addition to being on the Thanksgiving Do Not Call list, he's also one of the reasons that El Salvador planned to issue volcano bonds.
Oh yeah, furthermore, on this example, like, I constantly and explicitly advocate for liberty by means of decentralized tactics to everybody I meet. A family member, it could be friends, it could be like girls I'm dating from Tinder, like literally anybody I will preach my ideas and ideology to, because that's actually how you get things done. And so, you know, it's actually a testament to a success. I would say people that are into Bitcoin and cryptocurrency are pretty zealous with their beliefs, and it's worked. Like, it's just, we've measurably accomplished our goals. Like, we went from nothing to taking over $1 trillion from the banking cartel in like 10 years. Like, what we are doing is working. So like, why would we change it?
But what I want to know is, what is the truth? What's the real situation with Bitcoin in El Salvador a year later? It's time for a deep dive on this. We're going to start.
Okay, so he's going to do the same thing establishment media does. I would bet $1 million on it. He's going to take a look at the short-term price and say, oh, look, guys, it's gone down. Oh, geez. Oh, Bitcoin isn't so great then. But he won't look at the long-term chart. Like, he just won't. Like, he won't post it. I guarantee it. I guarantee he won't even reference it. That cryptocurrency has been the best performing asset class of the last decade. He won't bring it up. I guarantee it.
Obvious place, price. Obviously, a lot of the conversation around Bitcoin for El Salvador is going to center around how it has performed as an asset, in total at an average price of $45,000. Bitcoin is now worth roughly $20,000, which means they've taken a 50% loss on these purchases, which is a huge waste of resources. So sure, you could say they're
a huge waste of resources. Dude, if you're worried about a huge waste of resources, what about the trillions of dollars that America steals from the people through inflation, national debt, and so on and so forth. But also, even more blatant, is how the government can just lose money and just misplace it. So, like, if we're talking about a waste of resources, why are you making a video about a president of a Latin country that bought something that went down temporarily? Why is that your main concern, and not the trillions of dollars that the American government, your own government, steals from the people and misplaces? You're only picking on us because we're softer targets. You don't actually want to go after, like, the more formidable opponent because you're a coward.
Hodling, but this is a pretty big fail. But of course, that's not the whole story. A big reason Bitcoin sounded promising in a place like El Salvador is because a large amount of money...
Okay, see? Like, he's just gone off that point. This is... it's just mid-wittery. It's mid-wittery, I'm telling you. They just look at what's in front of them. They never look at what's behind. Like, there's just no, like, long-term vision here. Like, he doesn't bring up the objective fact. He's intentionally hiding this. He's hiding that we're the best performing asset class of the last decade because that doesn't suit his narrative.
These international...
Okay, so remittances, Bitcoin cuts the cost of that.
But in the press, I have to say, those aren't really the people on the front lines pushing the Bitcoin narrative forward in El Salvador. That award goes to rich people who don't get invited to Thanksgiving, but do get El Salvadorian citizenship via the president himself.
Again, like, not getting invited to Thanksgiving is, like, in his mind, that's like it's the worst thing possible. It's like, dude, you know, people that have stood for things in the past have had some social consequence for it in the moment. Like, you do realize that, right? That is how things progress onwards. Like, you stand for things despite pushback in the moment.
This finally brings me to my main question I want to leave you with, right? Because people on the Bitcoin side are going to say it's going great. People anti, crypto are going to say, oh, it's always going terrible. But I really want to leave you with this thought. Who is the... Dude,
you are on the anti-Bitcoin side. Like, all you do is make FUD about cryptocurrency and never bring up the crimes, the absolute scam that is the US dollar. Like, just... oh my god, like, it's unbelievable how you can consider yourself impartial. Like, it's ridiculous.
Bitcoin.
Like, you work for the empire. Like, you are the establishment. You are an establishment stooge. Like, there's no doubt about it.
Bitcoin push benefiting. Obviously, in the press, it's all to help the poor people, right? We have to bank the unbanked. But if you actually look at what El Salvador has done, not what they say they're doing, you really have to wonder whether this is about helping poor people or if it's about helping people who are already...
Okay, well, so I know where he's going with this. Like, he doesn't think it helps poor people. Okay, well, if you're in a country with really high inflation, what can you do? Like, there's some countries that have over, like, 100% inflation. It's almost impossible to get ahead if you're at the bottom rung of society. Like, you just can't. Like, your wealth just evaporates by the time you can buy some asset. However, cryptocurrency allows you to resist that inflation and actually not be stolen from via that scam. You know, this guy likes to make a lot of videos about how, oh, this cryptocurrency altcoin dev scammed this and influencer scams. It's like the US dollar has a well-known mint exploit that the developers constantly use. It's called printing money. Like, they do it all the time. They boast about it. They're open about it. And, like, it's just not even on your radar. It's like the people doing the most crime, the most scamming, you just don't talk about because they're actually scary.
Well off. I mean, if you look at their plan to issue volcano bonds to wealthy investors, they're giving citizenship to wealthy investors. They're giving a tax haven to wealthy investors. Because from where I'm sitting, I see most of the benefit going to the people already at the top. So,
the people already at the top, what are you on about? Like, the banking cartel is immense. Like, they have the most power in the world. Their cohorts are just like the people at the top. Like, BlackRock has, like, what, assets of like $11 trillion? That's 11 times the market cap of cryptocurrency. These are the people at the top. The people you are defending are the ones at the top. And the question I want to ask you is, why do you want to work for the empire? Like, how is this fulfilling? Like, you're defending like bankers, IMF. How is this fulfilling for you? Don't you actually want to stop the establishment stealing from people and your children and your grandchildren? Don't you want to put a dent in that? Like, dude, you just stand for nothing. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, you'll make any types of videos where anyone in the cryptocurrency space does something slightly dodgy or does any kind of scam. Oh, you're all over that. Government stealing trillions from their own people, it is just not even on the radar. Like, it's just, I don't know, how is this fulfilling? Why do people want to work for the empire? Why are you shilling for the IMF? Like, how is this fun? Like, don't you want to be part of the resistance? Isn't that more fun? Well, yeah, this is my opinion on this clown. Yeah, he's just gonna constantly mislead people about cryptocurrency, and he doesn't want to learn. He'll never learn. He's found his niche. His audience are basically people salty that they didn't get in Bitcoin or that lost money in Bitcoin. That's who this guy makes videos for. These people will never learn, and that's just how it's going to be. So yeah,